Okay, so today is our last day of working on the simple forms of elimination. We're going to kind of ramp it up a little bit more today by multiplying by something other than a -1, just to kind of move us forward. You do have a concept check and a quiz coming up. So if you are struggling, make sure you're reaching out to us so we can help you, because we're going to move on here to the next piece. So again, solving systems, we're going to be multiplying through by a -1 to create an additive inverse, and we're looking for that ordered pair. So go ahead and hit pause. Go ahead and solve these two equations. See if you can come up with the answer, and I will catch up with you. All right, so I see that I have the same numbers, the -9 and -9. So I'm going to multiply by a -1. That's going to give me a positive 2x, a positive 9y, and a positive 25. So my y's are going to be gone. -4 plus 2 is a -2. -23 plus 25, that's a positive 2. So -2 divide -2 divide -2. That's going to give me x is -1. Hopefully you came up with x of -1. Now this one, ultimately, there is no such thing as one with no negatives. So I'm just going to have to pick one. And I'm going to go ahead and just pick the first one, -9y. And I'm going to drop in that -1 for my x. Now I just got to make sure and not lose my negatives. So -2 times -1, that's 2. Okay, so moving my 2, I need to subtract because that's a positive 2. -9y drops. -25 plus -2 is a -27. Divide by your -9. Y is going to equal a positive 3. So I have a solution of -1, positive 3. Okay, this next one, same thing. Multiply by -1, -6x, -5y, and a -4. My x's are going to go away. That gives me a -12y and a -24. Dividing by the -12, I come up with y equals a positive 2. And this one, thankfully, has lots of positives. So I'm going to drop my y into the first equation. So I've got my 6x plus 5 times the 2. So 6x plus 10 equals 4. Move my 10. 6x equals -6, and divide by 6, x is going to equal -1. So my solution is -1, 2. All right, let's ramp it up a little bit, because I know you guys got this figured out. Let's take a look at these problems. So I don't even see the same numbers here, but I do see that there's a 1 here. So if this is a positive 3x, I know that to be able to get rid of this, I need a negative 3x. Okay, I need a negative 3x. So what if I multiplied this by a -3? Would that actually create my additive inverse? Well, let's see. So let's distribute. I have a -3x, a positive 15y, and 17 times -3 is a -51. Now I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite that top equation again, just to keep myself organized. And hey, there's my additive inverses. I'm good to go. 15 plus 2, that's 17. -51 minus 0, that's -51. Divide by 17, so my solving process didn't change. I come up with y equals -3. Substituting back in, I'm going to go back up to that top equation because it has a 0 and I like zeros. 3x plus 2 times the -3. 3x minus 6, because 2 times -3 is 6. Now, how do I move that -6? Yeah, I add 6. So 3x equals 6. Finish it up. Divide by 3. X is 2. So my solution to this first one is 2, -3. All right, let's look at another one. See if we can do the same thing. So tell me what you see. Tell me what you see here. Do we have Additive inverses. No. Do we have the same numbers? No, we don't even have the same numbers, but I do see a 1. I do see a 1. So if this is a positive 2, what am I going to have to multiply this one by? I'm going to have to multiply it by a negative. You're right. So negative 2x, a negative 4y, and a negative 10. And again, I'm going to just rewrite that top equation so I have something organized. And I'm going to go from there. Here are my additive inverses. Take it from there. See if you can get your x and your y. Okay, let's see how you did. Negative 1 plus 3, that's a negative 1. Negative 10 and 6 is a negative 4. Divide by negative 1, I get y is 4. Okay, and I'm going to use the second one because it has a 1. Drop in my 4. 1x plus 2 times 4 equals 5. 2 times 4 is 8, so 1x plus 8 equals 5. And subtract my 8. 1x equals a negative 3. And again, I don't have to divide by 1 because it's not going to change. So my solution is negative 3, 4. Negative 3, 4. Let's try one more of those. See if you can figure this one out. And then we'll move on to homework time. Okay. So I see a negative 1, which is good because I have a positive 2 right here, and this needs to be a negative 2. So what would I multiply by negative 1 by to make it a negative 2? I don't think it needs to be negative this time. I think I can get away with a positive. Let's try it and see. 16 times 2, that's 32. 2 times negative 1, that's negative 2. That's what I need. 2 times 14 is 28. And again, I'm going to drop down that original equation, and I'm going to go from there. X's are gone. 32 and 4, that's a 36x. 28 and 8, that's 36. So I can already see that x is going to equal 1. X is going to equal 1. And I'm going to go ahead and pick my first equation because it's positive. Put in my 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Remember, solving, move the numbers. 8 minus 4 is 4, and divide by what is next to the variable. So y is 2. So my solution is 1, 2. We're going to spend more time focusing on this part as we move forward next week. Reach out to us if you are struggling because you've got that assessment coming up. Have a good rest of your day.